The Inman family seemed perfect from the outside. Every Sunday they attended church together. But none of their close circle could imagine what was going on in this decent family behind closed doors. William and Sandra Inman met in church back in 1983. He was 18, and she was only 16. The young people got married with their parents' permission. They settled in the small town of Logan in Hocking County, Ohio. Bell Inman considered himself a man of religion. He worked as a builder and played musical instruments at the Evangelical Church of Faith, located near Nelsonville, Ohio. Sandra was a chimney maid. A year later, in 1984, the Inman family had a son, William Jr., and the son's names were the same. So as not to confuse the names, the head of the family was called Bell, and the son William. As the years went by, William Jr. grew up to 2001, 17 years old. The guy met a girl named Samora Cook in church. She was only 15. The story and meetings were very similar to the acquaintance of the Inman Sr. Will and Samora were friends for 3 years, and when the girls turned 18 to 2004, the couple got married. The newlyweds immediately began to live with William's parents in a large spacious house in the city of Logan, Ohio. In the same 2004, 39-year-old Bell Inman imagined himself a religious leader. He turned his garage into an impromptu church and began to conduct services there. The locals did not really approve of everything that the self-proclaimed pastor was doing. But first neighbors, then their acquaintances, and then under a chain began to come to his mysterious garage on the pre-smoke lot. People prayed, comforted their souls, left a donation. In 2005, Will and Samora's first son, Alex, was born. At that time, the Inman family began to experience financial difficulties. Bill's church activities did not bring in much income. The family decided to move to another state in search of work. In 2006, the Inmans and the rest of the family moved to Florida. There, Bill and Will quickly found work. The men were engaged in the construction of hotels. Sandra and Samora looked after the house and raised Alex. After 2 years, the Inman family returned from Florida to their native state of Ohio. By that time, they had lost their house in Laguna, since they had lost the right to buy it. The family rented another house in the Vinton area. Almost immediately after moving in 2008, Will and Samora had a daughter, Kaylee. And 2 years later, the trader's child, daughter Alana. Almost every weekend, young parents Will and Samora tried to get out of the house for a whole day to rest and unwind. Sandra White always supported her son and daughter-in-law. The grandparents managed to cope with their 3 grandchildren, who became the focus of their lives. In the spring of 2010, Bell Inman received a pastoral license, calling himself the leader of the church non-faith. And together his wife registered a non-profit organization called Mercy Ranch. The man decided that he would help people who had lost their jobs and remained on the run. He wanted to build a big house with his own hands and shelter orphans and widows there. But there was a problem. The Inman family had no money at all for construction. Then the idea of arranging a lottery arose. People would buy 1 ticket each and the amount for construction would be collected. At the end, there would be a drawing and one of the lucky ones would receive a house or $200,000. In addition, Bell Inman promised to raffle off 99 other large prizes. Local residents began to learn about the lottery from news advertisements. At first, Bell personally went door to door offering to take active part and buy tickets. He promised a great oath, saying that the remaining money would be used to build a house for the homeless. The cost of 1 ticket was $10. In total, Inman sold 100,000 tickets and received $1 million for the construction of the house. The drawing was to take place in September 2010. Meanwhile, in the personal life of the Inman family, not everything was as smooth as at work. In June 2010, Samora announced to her husband Wela that she wanted to divorce him after 6 years of marriage. Not long before this, Samora made the following entry in his personal diary: "I'm so tired of pleasing everyone. I'm tired. Don't I deserve to be happy? Don't I deserve to love someone again and feel loved in return? And I don't know if now is the right time or not, but I want to tell you all about everything. I feel so bad. I think he deserves to know the truth. He should know that I don't want to be with him anymore. I want to be alone from myself and understand who I am. Right now I'm just a rapper who runs and follows everyone's orders. I love my children with all my heart. I wouldn't trade them for anything. I don't want them to grow up and see their mother just following orders. And I don't know how you will react to all this. Maybe he will get angry, try to take the children and run away. Maybe he will start threatening, hurt me, or something worse. I think the kids should see us the same amount of time. I know Will's parents will turn against me and try to make me stay, but I know it won't change anything. It's been a while. At night William asked me what I want and I don't know. I only know what I don't want. I don't want to be unhappy and feel trapped, but I couldn't tell him that, so I just sat there and said nothing. Every day I just want to cry and sleep, nothing more. I just don't know how to get out of this situation. And for everything to be okay, I hope when I make the next entry I will understand how to solve everything. Samor filed for divorce and moved out of the Inman house, taking with her son and 2 daughters, as well as personal belongings. They settled in their parents' house. Samor, the woman, didn't want to deprive the children of their father. She let them see their dad, grandparents. Even though 2 months after leaving her husband in August 2010, Samor Inman began dating a man named Adam Peters. At the same time, Samor got a job at a bank located in the center of Logan, as a regular cleaner, since she did not have an education. September came, and the recovery of the house from the non-profit organization Mercy Ranch, which belonged to the Inman family, was about to take place, but by that time the construction of the prize house had not even begun. September and October passed, but there was no progress. The reclamation did not take place. No one gave a reason. Mercy Ranch was in no hurry to return the people's money. On December 1, 2010, the Inman family was informed that they had to vacate the rented house due to a large debt on rent. Having learned about this, Samor came to the Inman house together with Adam to pick up the personal belongings that remained there. But the woman and her new chosen one Adam were not allowed in. Then Samor called the police and reported that her husband, with whom she was divorcing, was threatening her and not letting her take her things. When the police arrived, Will and his parents still would not let anyone into the house. Will threatened to shoot Adam, and then started a fight with a police officer. Samor filed a complaint against her husband. The woman reported that before the wedding, her relationship with Will was simply perfect. However, after the official marriage, he changed dramatically, began to constantly control her and make claims. He ordered her what and when she should do. This concerned food, household chores and intimacy. Samor could not sleep without her husband's permission. He kept her locked in the house and did not allow her to go outside. He hid her mobile phone and keys. Samor admitted that Will wanted her to give birth to 12 children. He dreamed of a second wife and was a frequent visitor to websites for polygamous families. He posted his candid photos there. Samor said that Will threatened to kill her if she divorced. He also took her cats and took them to an unknown location. And then he said that they simply jumped out of an open window and ran away on their own. He left and said that she would never see them again. After Samor was accused, Will made excuses. He claimed that he took the phone and keys, dinners, because he felt that she had a lover. And as for the cats, they were wild. They tore up the furniture, scratched the whole family, and he simply took them to the shelter. Will Inman received restraining orders, no longer had the right to approach Samor. In addition, Will received a fine and a probationary period. At the same time, an active struggle for custody began between the two families. The Inman family filed a police report that Adam Peters was a dangerous person and could harm Alex, Kaylee, and Alani. And something terrible did happen in Samor's life. On the evening of March 22, 2011, 25-year-old Samor Inman was finishing her shift at the bank. After the branch closed, she cleaned up the employees' workstations and went outside to throw out the trash. It was already 11 p.m. Samor texted her man, the administrator, whom she was supposed to meet after work, but Adam never showed up. At 12 midnight, Adam went to the bank where Samor worked. He walked around the building, found a pile of trash near the trash can, and her things. On the ground lay Samor's phone, keys, and a working player with headphones. A little further in the grass, he found her jacket. Adam called the woman's parents and reported that Samor had disappeared. He asked them to call the police immediately. The parents first called the bank and asked about the employee, Samor Inman. They thought that perhaps she had simply been late cleaning and had lost her phone and personal belongings, but the custodians of the bank did not know where the woman was. After that, the parents called the Logan Police Department and reported their daughter missing. They said that Samor had a strict schedule and was rarely late at work. The police arrived at the place where Samor's personal belongings were found. There were already 3 witnesses who had seen Samor being kidnapped in that place. 2 women who were jogging in the evening said that they had seen Samor go to throw out the trash. A white Ford Crown Victoria drove up to her, with a blonde woman driving. 2 men in black balaclavas got out of the car. They grabbed Samor, pushed her into the back seat of the car. She resisted, screamed, called for help. One of the passers-by tried to save Samor. The blind driver sprayed pepper spray right in his face and the passerby fell behind. The car drove away. 2 witnesses ran to the nearest police station and told them what had happened, but for some reason the police found these women strange and suspicious, and thought that they had made up this story for fun. The police arrived at the scene where Samor was kidnapped only an hour after her parents had contacted them. Unfortunately, they were unable to find the missing woman on the trail. The news of the kidnapping of 25-year-old Samor Inman, in Miko, flew all over the local news portals. Hundreds of concerned Logan residents gathered together to help find the missing woman. 3 days passed. The hope that the woman would be found safe and sound was dwindling. Her parents tried not to think about the bad. Just a few weeks before his disappearance, Samor Inman posted a joint photo on his Facebook page with his new lover, Adam, his son and daughters. You must admit that in this photo they look like a real happy family. That's what Will Inman thought, when he saw the new publication on the page of Adam Peters, with whom he was friends on Facebook. A logical question that may arise is why would a husband add a lover, his legally married wife, as a friend? It turned out that Samor met Adam before she decided to leave her husband. A year ago, in the spring of 2010, Adam Peter, with whom he did not have a permanent job and got by with odd jobs, got a job with the Inman family to service their house and property. It was there that he met Samor and fell in love with the woman. He started to show her signs of attention and at first she rejected him, but then gave in. In Samor's notebook there is a recording. When I looked into his eyes, I realized that the devil had taken possession of me. And they listened to what God was telling me. I tried to stop, my mind screamed run, get out of here, Sechazi, but instead I stayed and let him hug me, and then dive deeper. I am very sorry about this. I am guilty. Meeting with Adam was the beginning of the end of Samor's life. In the Inman family, the woman realized that she wanted to be happy and loved. So she filed for divorce, which dragged on for too long. 5 days before his disappearance, Samor left, filed an objection that he did not want to pay his spouse alimony for each child in the amount of $150 per month, and asked to reduce this amount to $50. At that time, his total annual income was only $6,000, or $500 per month. Will Inman and his parents tried to get full custody of their son and daughters, but the judge refused. Bill and Sandro had lost weight after their breakup with Snooki, and everyone who knew them unanimously claimed that their grandchildren were the center of their lives. In March 2011, after Samor disappeared, the Inman family was found. All 3 were in the home of Bill's 70-year-old mother, in Jackson County, Ohio. All 3, Bill, Sandro, and Will unanimously claimed that they knew nothing, and that Samor had been kidnapped. According to the Inman family, on the night Samor was kidnapped, they were driving to Cleveland to look at a new house. In the backpack from the speech of the ride their car broke down. They spent the whole night on the street, repairing the car, and only in the morning returned home to Logan. They said that they had a good relationship with Samor, rarely quarreled. But when Adam Peters got a job in their house, a black streak began in their life. All 3 unanimously claimed that Adam was a bad person, who destroyed their once happy, religious and friendly family. The police noticed that in the yard of their house there was a white Ford Crown Victoria. The cars were inspected and the GPS receiver was confiscated. Later it turned out that in the afternoon of March 22, the day when Samor was kidnapped, the car was in the city of Logan. In the evening at 17:30, the GPS system was turned off. It was turned on only the following morning on March 23 and again in Logan. It was not possible to confirm that the Inman family went to Cleveland. A check of the phones also showed that on March 22 to 23, all 3 were in their native Logan. Soon, information appeared that at 7:30 a.m. on March 23, the Inman family was at a car wash and did a full dry cleaning of the interior. There were 3 of them, Bill, Sandra, and Will. Samor was not with them. After the car wash, the family went to an auto repair shop in the city of Cleveland, where they changed their tires. A worker from the shop said that he found it strange that Bill decided to change practically new tires for support ones, saying that he simply did not like his tires. It is also known that the Inman family tried to change the appearance of their car. Bill removed the police spotlight, which was previously installed on the driver's side door, next to the side rear view mirror. Bill, Sandra, and Will Inman were arrested and sent for questioning. Before his arrest, Bill told his elderly mother that they were innocent. And the whole ordeal was a blanket. During interrogation, all three continued to claim that the innocent had no idea who had kidnapped Seymour Inman for what purpose. A few hours later, I realized that all three were facing the death penalty if their guilt will be proven. Sandra Inman surrendered and confessed to everything. The woman said that they were the ones who kidnapped Seymour that night, March 22nd. The men in black masks were her husband, Bill, and son Will. Sandra said that it was entirely her idea to kidnap and scare Seymour, but everything did not go according to plan. When Seymour was pushed into the back seat of the car, Will put plastic zip ties on her neck, arms, and legs. He wanted his wife to be scared and allow him to see his son and daughters. At some point, Will noticed that Seymour was losing consciousness. He wanted to cut the zip ties with a knife and free his wife. Will shouted to his mother, "Oh my God, Mom, where is the knife? I can't find it." All three were very scared and bared the knife, but after a few moments, Seymour stopped breathing and died. Sandra claimed that they had no intention of killing her daughter-in-law. They simply wanted to solve their custody problems and be able to see their grandchildren on weekends. On March 29, 2011, 7 days after the abduction, Sandra Inman showed the place where they hid the body. It turned out that Seymour was lying in a well. The cesspool of the church, the Tabernacle of Faith, is located near Nelson Villa, 30 kilometers from the bank where Seymour worked. Bill Inman himself took part in the construction of the church. In this same church, 28 years ago, Bill and Sandra got married. The Inman family attended this church for many years every Sunday. And Bill played musical instruments there. When the police moved the concrete slab, unscrewed 6 bolts from the metal cover of the well and opened it, they immediately discovered Seymour's legs. The woman was simply thrown head down into the cesspool. She was wearing the same clothes as on her last working day. Her black t-shirt had the inscription, "I don't have anger issues, I have idiot issues." The autopsy showed that Seymour had indeed been strangled. No other injuries were found on her body except for marks on her neck, arms and legs, indicating that she had indeed been tied up. Sandra said that initially she wanted to order the body to be thrown into the river, but then she thought that it would be safer to hide it in the well near the church. No one would have found her there for sure. Sandra admitted that she was very ashamed of her actions. The trial took place soon after. 49-year-old Bill Inman and 28-year-old Will Inman pleaded not guilty in the death of Seymour. They hardly spoke at the hearing, showed no emotion and avoided eye contact with the parents of the deceased. 47-year-old Sandra Inman, the only one who admitted guilt, tried to take full responsibility. She continued to claim that it was her idea to scare her daughter-in-law. Before the verdict was announced, Sandra turned to Seymour's parents in tears and begged for forgiveness. Her words were difficult to understand due to the tears and emotions, but one thing was clear. The woman repented. Sandra admitted that Seymour was like a daughter to her, and if it were possible to turn back time, she would never repeat her terrible plan. 12-year-old Sandra in 2012, all three were found guilty. Bill and Will Inman received life sentences, without the possibility of parole. Sandra Inman received a life sentence with the right to parole after 15 years. All close friends, parishioners knew that in the family Inman sired the patriarchy. None of them believed that Sandra was the initiator of this case. Everyone knew that Bill was the head of the family, and the last word was always his. It was said about Will that he was a spoiled child since childhood and his parents fulfilled all his whims. Relatives believed that Sandra tried as best she could to take the blame on herself in order to reduce the term of her men as much as possible. Alex, Kelly and Alana are still being raised in the family of parents who died with Seymour. They could not explain for a long time to their grandchildren where their mother, father, grandmother and children had disappeared. Thank you for watching this video. Please rate it and write your thoughts in the comments. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.